Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Hi, I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. This is the Michael Artsis Show on BeTerrific. I am so excited. I'm always excited. I mean, this is a great show. It's fun. And you're the Terrifics, and you make BeTerrific special. Thank you so much for watching. So there are plenty of ways to get in touch with us, and I know you want to know all the ways if you're not already in touch with us. The first way, my favorite way, join our Slack chat so you can join the conversation in real time. You can converse with our other viewers and also us. When we're on air, you can ask questions, we'll ask on air, you can even make statements. And of course, we do this 24 hours a day. We check in with the Slack chat, see how you guys are doing, what's going on, talk about life, maybe even the New York Rangers, which we'll get to in a little bit. So that is beterrific.com/live. Go underneath the live video player and you will see an email and name questionnaire. Fill that out. It's easy, 2 questions, it's free. Get us your email. We'll send you an invitation to join our Slack chat, and it is free. So beterrific.com/live, underneath the live video player, join our Slack chat. Following that, you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at BeTerrificTV. That's an exciting way as well, or 2 exciting ways. And of course, you can send us an email, connect@beterrific.com. Don't forget, you can also reach us on the phone, 201-735-7711, 201-735-7711. A lot to get to today. First of all, I'm rocking this tie. It's a Flip My tie. Flip My tie is cool. You can wear it on either side. It's reversible. But the nice thing about this is it's actually a great tie. So they sent me a couple to check out because I really like their story, and we're going to have them in studio in the next couple weeks to talk about their story and how they make these awesome ties, stylish and affordable, and of course, cool. So figured I'd rock that today. I like it a lot, and we'll talk more about that in the future. The New York Rangers lost 6-5 in overtime. That killed me. We'll get into that. Clearly, I have a lot of thoughts on that and am just beside myself. It's unbelievable. But we've got a guest via Skype. I believe he's on the left coast right now, maybe even in Denver, because that's where he's from. That's where he spends most of his time, but he does spend a lot of time these days in Los Angeles. He's a master of all trades. It's unbelievable what this guy's done. He's an author, a video game creator. He's also created other games like card games, which we'll get into. And of course, he's a television producer, all sorts of stuff. Xena Warrior Princess is among his credits. And we'll talk to him about that and a whole lot more. Peter Wacks is joining us, which seems like a mob name. It seems like, you know, you should be in the mob. You said no when I said Xena Warrior Princess. That was in your bio information.
Actually,
is that
that's a miscredit right there?
That is a
I apologize.
That's a miscredit.
That is. My writing partner, Stephen L. Sears.
Ah, I misread it. I see it now. I get that in the notes. Your writing partner. You should get that out of your bio. That's ridiculous. That's only confusing. You screwed me up terribly. Goodbye. Have a night. No, I'm just kidding. How you doing? I like you a lot. We talked on the phone before. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good. Welcome to the program. So you got a mob name like Peter Wacks, and I feel like that you should be in Goodfellas. There was Jimmy 2 times because he said everything 2 times, and there was Peter Wacks because he whacks a lot of people.
Well, yeah, you know, I tend to keep a lead pipe around the place, and these days the only whacking I do is characters that are getting out of line. But just in case.
I love it. I like your Doctor Who phone booth back there. Is that a poster? It looks like it's the real deal.
That is the real deal. That is part of my office, bigger on the inside.
Is that like legitimate? That is a legitimate one, or that's a mock-up?
Well, it's a legitimate mock-up. It has made appearances at shows, at like science fiction conventions, but most of the year it just it sits in there and it has like extra files and some random stuff in it.
Excellent. Very, very cool. Did you pay a lot for that? I would think that would cost a lot unless you built that yourself.
Well, we purchased one that was really a friend of mine and I, who she does costuming. We purchased a kind of rundown older one from a fan, and then we started working on it, and we resanded it, redesigned it, built it back up, and brought it up to pro spec.
Very
just
nice.
because, I'm a big fan.
Very, very nice. I like it. Very, very cool. And by the way, Digital Phil, you are the best. He wanted to know who's the best. He's one of our viewers. And he wants to know about this card game you created that's pretty amazing. And it's called Cyberpunk. Talk about how you created this card game.
Cyberpunk, the collectible card game, was, that was 12 years ago or so. And it was from a deep love of the genre of cyberpunk. I'm this weird person who feels that cyberpunk, even though it's this dark, gritty genre, is one of the most optimistic of genres. And I was getting into the logic behind card games and how those interactions work, and basically two people being able to tell a story through a game. And the story of how we did it is I came up with the game, hired a lawyer to reach out to the company that owned the intellectual property, and we all hit it off, and we made the game. And so Cyberpunk, the collectible card game, came to be, and it was a very unique system because it relies on a circular philosophy where there is no premium deck, there is no one path to victory. There is anything can win, and it's very unique for that aspect of the game.
How do you create a game like that? There are a lot of games like this that I can't even figure out how to play, let alone how to create. I feel like I'm a creative guy, but not in that way. Definitely not in that way. More in a joking kind of way.
Well, when it comes to creating a game, the first question that I tend to ask myself is, if I was sitting down, drinking Mountain Dew and munching some chips or whatever, just chilling out, what would I want the experience to be like for me? And from there, I can think of, okay, what would I want to feel when I win? What would I want to feel when I lose? How is that going to come out? And then I start tying in the genre. And from there, I end up generally working with flowcharts a lot to try and figure out the process, the flow of moving through the game. It's a very different way of applying creativity. It's charting a story, but you have to be able to socket the pieces from anywhere.
So that's pretty amazing. I like how you do it. I like the flow, and it's really thinking ahead. It's almost like writing a television series, I would imagine, because a lot of times we think of, they write this episode, then they write the next episode, then based on audience reaction. They don't write it like that. They know where they're going for the whole season. And so how long does it take you to create a game like that?
Oh, man. Core concept is maybe a couple weeks, but after core concept, you have to start figuring out the mechanics, how the mechanics are going to work together. You have to put those mechanics into the concept. I would say that once you get to get it ready for an alpha test, which is where the initial players sit down and try and break the game and make it not work, it can take anywhere from 3 or 4 weeks up to several months of development time.
That's pretty. I think that's faster than I would have thought. I would have thought several years, not several months.
A long time ago, I have a running joke. I realized that I had 3 really important things in front of me. I had my creative side, and I had personal relationships, and sleep. And I chose to be creative at the cost of most of my personal relationships, and definitely sleep is something that I intend to experience at some point in my life. But
you believe you sleep when you're dead, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so very cyberpunk. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin was the first person who said that.
All right, you're also you dabble in magic. You go to the magic castle, but you're taking it a lot more seriously. Can you do a trick for us? Can we see a trick?
I am not sure that this is the best venue to show you a trick, but
all right, I'll tell you what. Hold on, I'm going to let you think about a trick, and we're gonna tease everybody with that. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have a trick from you. How about that? Peter Wacks, and we'll talk about all sorts of other things, including your newest novel coming up with your co-creator, who is the guy who was the producer of Xena Warrior Princess. So we'll talk about all that and a whole lot more when we come back on the Michael Artsis Show. You're the Terrifics. Thanks so much for watching. Don't go anywhere. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got Peter Wacks joining us, and he's going to do a magic trick, a very cool magic trick, I hope. This is one of your many talents. I mean, obviously, you're a writer, you're a producer, you're a video game creator, you're a card game creator, and you're also a magician, an aspiring magician. You spend a lot of time at the Magic Castle out in LA. I really want to go there badly. A former employee of mine works there, and she keeps offering. I've never made it there. I've driven by it. I stayed near there a year ago in LA.
Oh,
I gotta go.
You absolutely have to go to the Magic Castle. It is absolutely amazing. It's this old mansion that is basically a castle right off of Hollywood Boulevard. It's like right behind the Chinese Man Theater, and you go in, and it's like you're stepping into a different world. It is all about the magic. There are private shows. There are tables set up where master magicians just sit down and perform for you. It's absolutely a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah, I mean, I have to get there. I've heard about it for years. A cousin of mine was a member, and I love magic. So let's see this trick. Maybe we can do one more trick even. I don't know. Let's just check this trick out and start there. I think any trick can translate. So here we go. What do we call this? Do we have a name for it?
We don't have a name for it. Yes, we're going to call this the impromptu. Peter figures out how to do something over the camera while keeping his hands in the frame without actually spoiling the trick.
Right.
I don't know. That yeah, a long name. It's
let's try it. I like that you're willing to try it, and I appreciate that.
All right. So this is a first.
Yes.
First off, you're going to have to choose a card. So
well, I mean, can't you just pull a rabbit out of a hat? That would be a trick you could do on Skype. I'll pick a card.
I focus on close-up magic, which means that I use cards exclusively.
All right. Excellent. So pick a card, any card.
Yep. Just tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop now. But the cards are facing you. That's the only problem.
It won't be a problem for the one that I have chosen.
Okay. All right.
So,
well, I don't know the trick, so I let the trick play out. Oh, I like this card. This is good. Okay.
Okay. So you can see your card. You know what it is, right?
Yes, I do. Yes.
All right. So all I am going to do is two simple motions. I'm going to take the bottom of the deck as you watch, okay, this half of the deck, and I'm going to rotate it, and I am going to put it on top of the deck, and then I am going to take the other half of the deck, which was the top of the deck, if you're watching closely, carefully, and rotate it so that it is facing down. So now the top of the deck is down here, and the bottom of the deck is facing up, correct?
Yep.
Which means your card is going to be right here, right where I put it on top.
Okay. It's not.
So.
Wait, was it really supposed to be my card, or is there a trick there? There's
there's a trick here.
Okay, okay.
So as we go through the deck.
Okay, we've got two that are turned around, but there's one specific that is actually my card.
There you go.
And together they make 21. I love it. That's my card.
They do. There's your blackjack.
There's my blackjack. Is that what it is?
No, that is not translating well on camera. There's a second half to this particular sleight that I'm not going to perform because there's just not enough space in the frame, and I need a table to do it.
I got you. You did a great job. I really appreciate it. I love it. I love it. You did a great job. How long do you practice each trick? Like, you know, it takes a long time, right?
It takes a long time. There are certain things that I've done, like learning how to just simple motions, like flicking a card like that.
Yeah. Just
flies out of the deck. I did that maybe 2,000 times before I really got good at it.
2,000 times? Wow.
Approximately.
I guess it's really true what they say. You know, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Is that what you would say?
Absolutely. That is what you have to do. You have to practice and practice nonstop.
What about like if somebody makes a tiger disappear, you know, like the David Copperfield guys? Is there a trick to that, or is that just a trap door?
Well, I would say you start by practicing with the tabby kitten, and you work your way up to the tiger.
Well, I guess that's the other point, right? Like you don't want to start with a tiger. That would be kind of crazy. Especially if you can't make it disappear, it's still there and gets a little upset. You know, but I mean, is it literally, are those things, I don't want you to give away secrets. I love magic. So But is that really just a trap door or something, or is there an illusion, a real illusion there, other than like, hey, we made the, car disappear because we've got a fancy stage?
Well, there are slights that depend on cameras and camera angles, but those are fewer and far between, and there are very few magicians who will only work on television. When you look at making a tiger disappear or something like that, you are looking at somebody having figured out a very intricate illusion. It's not just a trapdoor. It's something that can be performed, whether you're watching over television or whether you're sitting right there in the front row. And it has to be able to be performed everywhere, because what if the show goes on the road?
Right.
So at that point,
and they always
is there a trapdoor in every stage?
They do it in front of audiences too. Yeah. So who's your favorite magician?
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble, aren't you?
Of course.
I would say right now,
yeah,
Doc Eason.
Okay.
Doc Eason performs actually a lot at the castle. He is one of the, I think, grandmasters, just absolute grandmasters of close-up. On stage, I've really been enjoying Jonathan Pendragon as well.
The one thing I like about close-up magic is I feel like you really have to be good. It's not just some grand illusion. It's you really got to be good at it, and so it makes it. I guess I feel like you're really a grandmaster when you do that. So I love magic. What do you think it is that draws us to magic so much? And I mean, I think every young boy who sees magic wants to be a magician, at least for a little while.
Absolutely. I think that the draw for me is in the technicality and in the banter as well. When I was a child, I had social anxiety, and what drew me to magic was the ability to entertain people and have an excuse to talk to them to overcome those anxieties that I had. And we're talking when I was very, very young. Mm-hmm. And that was one reason why I never transitioned from being a child actor on screen to actually doing stage work, was that anxiety. I couldn't handle the pressure of all the people. So
wait, what were you in? I didn't know that. It's not. Is this in your bio? Hold on a second. I'm going back to this bio.
There's too much for the. There's too much.
There is too much.
I was.
You've worked in the creative
field. Revenge of the Nerds and Thunder Alley.
You were in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, I was a speaking extra. I had maybe half a dozen lines originally. Most of them ended up on the cutting room floor. There's like one edition where during the carnival, there's this family that's wandering around and they're just talking about all the different acts, making comments to each other. I was the 6-year-old kid in that family.
Wow. What was that like? You worked with Curtis Armstrong on that film.
Yep.
We've had him on the show. He's awesome.
He is really awesome. I was 6, so I have to say that there is a 6-year-old pink cotton candy fluff around the whole experience. But I absolutely loved everybody that I met on the set, and getting to meet everybody was really cool. Now, there were thousands of background actors for that scene because it happened at Spring Fling in Tucson,
okay,
which is a carnival. That carnival actually is a real thing that happens every year on the University of Arizona campus. And I was lucky enough, being 6 and I guess adorable enough that they wanted me, and I was talking on screen. I got to go around and meet the principals for the couple days that I was out there, which was it was really cool. But it also was one of the experiences watching what they do and how long those shoots went that leaned me towards writing. I actually wrote my first short story when I was 6.
You did? What was that about?
Well, the very first one was a 5-sentence story about a guy named Bob who was having a bad day, and then the world blew up, so it didn't matter.
I love how you remember this. That's actually a really interesting story. Like, if you think about it, we all have bad days. We get so upset about it, and either the world will end and it doesn't matter, or tomorrow will be better and it didn't matter yesterday, right? We get so worked up about today, right now in the present, and we forget to look long term.
And yeah, somehow my 6-year-old brain latched on to that. The first real short story that I wrote that actually had some volume to it was there's something week after that one.
Wait, hold on. There's something really poetic about that. I'm dead serious because
okay.
We get so stuck in what's going on right now. We don't even think about the world around us even. We get so fixated on this. And then what happens? We have that moment, we find out somebody had cancer and you're like, whoa, they got real problems. What am I complaining about here? I'm sitting in traffic. That's what's making me upset. Like, you know, or like, you know, some natural disaster happens and it really snaps us out of it. So what that's really showing, what you wrote, is like, yeah, I mean, it could be worse, right? It could be so much worse. It's either, it could be over, or there's other things in the world. Like what I'm going through really in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter. And it matters right now to me, but it doesn't matter in the future. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And especially if it's like a really bad day, all right, it'll pass. Like sometimes I feel like when you're having a really bad day, you just got to go to sleep and sleep it off. And I never sleep either. I'm like you, but sometimes you just got to, you know what, I'm going to hit the reset button and get that video game going again, you know?
It is. You know, the inspiration for the story, I actually remember this quite well. What prompted me to write the story at that age was that I was having a bad day. It was something with my lunch that was wrong, like I had the wrong sandwich or something I didn't want to eat. And then during recess, while I was grumping about that with one of my friends, trying to trade sandwich goods, you know, trying to trade the pieces of the lunch out to assemble one that I really wanted, I fell off the monkey bars, cracked my skull open, and was hospitalized.
Wow, cracked your skull open.
Yes.
And your concussion, I'm sure your ensuing concussion precipitated this story and gave you the inspiration for it. And see, even then you knew that there could be something worse.
I was 6. I can't speak too well to the memory.
Maybe it was the visions you saw, or the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, you clearly saw something that literally at the end of the day, like, well, it could be worse, I guess, or it's not going to matter. You know, that's interesting. Very interesting.
You know.
You've never analyzed that before, ever.
I really haven't. No,
I want you to know.
You're digging into something completely new for me.
But I will tell you that, like, a school psychologist should have, who'd you give that story to? They should have looked at that and go, well, this is pretty heady for a little kid. You know what? We should actually, we got to call his parents now. Because, like, now today, not back then, if you drew, like, something violent, right? You drew a picture in school violent, I would imagine they'd call your parents, they make a big deal out of it. You're like, no, my kid we fool around. He watches shoot-em-ups, you know? That they literally take it very seriously. This isn't like that, but it does have a dark turn to it and a dark twist. And there is some psychology behind it, I think. They would certainly be like, what's going on here with him?
You know,
he's got a notepad and sit in a room on a couch for a while. What are you thinking about,
There were some things that came from it, but my mom actually, I think, still has the original story, like, on the fridge.
That's amazing. It is really, it's beautiful. It's so, I'm serious. It's like so important. It's vital. It's vital to the way we think. Like, no matter how bad today is, we get to hit the reset button. It's almost like Groundhog Day. Yeah, we can't live today again, but we can make it right tomorrow. All right, moving on. So what was your second story that you were telling me about?
Oh, the first one that I consider to be a real short story because it was like 1,000 words or so.
That's 6.
Doogie
Howser.
For a 6-year-old.
Doogie Howser right here. You're a prodigy. All right, let's hear this. Number 6. I mean, at 6, you know what I was doing? I was running around with a Cooper helmet on and a face mask, a Nerf basketball, and a Mets baseball bat, and pretending I was scoring the winning goal in the 1980 Olympic hockey team. I was Mike Eruzione. Yeah.
I also may have had a Nerf bat that I would pretend was a lightsaber at the time.
There you go. And
but,
I did start my first business back then. I had a bike washing business, so my parents shut it down because they were afraid somebody was going to take me when I was washing their bike or something, you know. I don't know.
It's very entrepreneurial.
I was definitely. Look, I was wearing this tie back then. This
nice.
Why,
oh yeah, by the way, fan of the reversible tie.
Awesome. Oh, look at that. Very nice. I like that. Oh, we lost we lost him at like the most inopportune time. How amazing is that? Only today. See, this is what I'm talking about. We lost Peter Wacks. He'll be back.
We've got me back.
There we go. It was the reversible tie that the Skype couldn't handle. Whoa, wait a second. Is that a reversible or what? Yeah, very cool, man. I like that. That is a one fish, two fish tie. Do you wear ties a lot? I wear ties a lot.
I wear ties in a unique way. I do a lot of the Comic-Cons and a lot of the science fiction shows.
The only unique way that I can think of is, what movie was it where the guy's wearing the tie around his head like a bandana? It was like either Falling Down with Michael Douglas, or it was like not one of the diehards. It would be like
Wolverines.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No. That's a very Red Dawn picture in my head. No, I wear my ties once in public.
Okay.
For public appearances.
Yeah.
So I will wear each tie for one day, but all of my ties are geek ties. Like I have a Flash tie, I have an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tie, I have my Dr. Seuss ties, I hunt down specialty ties, and I will wear them one time for a public appearance so that any PR shot of me that has me wearing a tie, it will not be a repeat of a previous PR shot.
That's pretty smart. So you obviously Hollywood rubbed off at 6. But do you flip it so you could wear that tie twice, right? Like
I can wear this tie twice, and this one is this one was the first. This one is the one that I will always go back to, because Dr. Seuss. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that is awesome. All right, so anyway, tell me about this story that you wrote.
Yeah. The first real story was about a group of kids.
Oh, what were we talking about?
Right, yeah. Slip the mind. Ties. Come on, ties are cool.
They are cool, though. I don't think people wear them enough anymore. If I wear the shirt without the tie, it's maybe a little bit more comfortable, maybe, but it doesn't look as cool. And I like how sometimes I wear it unbuttoned like you have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's got a little bit of panache, a little bit of, hey, look at me. I can be serious, but I'm relaxed.
Exactly. Like, look how much fun we're having here.
Absolutely.
So 6 years old, you write your real first short story, The Genius That You Are. I do believe that at an early age, we kind of know what we want to do, even if we're not there yet. So here you are, you're a writer. What's the story?
The story was about a group of kids participating in an arts and crafts festival. And the arts and crafts festival was at the dawn of time, and they were creating the world, basically. So, like, the Norwegian kids were creating the fjords. The end result of the story is that the Native American kids were Hopi and Navajo, and they won the festival by painting the sunset onto the sky.
Whoa, hold up. You wrote this at 6?
Yes, I wrote this at 6.
Not 16, 6.
6.
Wow, I feel like a slacker. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say, except we should take a commercial break, because I got to regroup my thoughts. You've made me speechless. I was kidding about Doogie Howser, but you're a prodigy. I wouldn't even known about those topics when I was 6, and I didn't know how to read yet. I didn't know how to read till 1st grade, and I barely knew how to read. I was like, a cat will jump. I mean, come on, that's insane. They should have examined you after that. Maybe taken you to that lab they took the mermaid to, that Daryl Hannah was in that. What movie was that? Splash. They should have taken you to that lab and put you under testing. Write again, kid. Write another one. Put electrodes on your head.
Oh yeah, sure. Growing up in a mermaid tank, writing.
Yes.
With Daryl Hannah.
Well, that wouldn't have been bad.
I think we're telling a news story here.
We kind of are. That is intense. Now your mom doesn't have that on the fridge, right? That's too long. That's definitely got to be hanging off. That's hanging off the printer, the dot matrix printer, off the back.
But every year she bugs me to rewrite it as an adult and get it published as a kid's book.
Oh, you totally should do it. I would love that. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Peter Wacks right after. I think we might talk to you for about 4 hours here today. We haven't even gotten started, and we're just getting started. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying. Join our Slack chat, BeTerrific.com/live. You'll see the place to enter your name, your email, and we'll send you an invitation for the Slack so you can join the conversation in real time. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis on BeTerrific. Thanks so much for joining us. I am so excited today because we've got this amazing guy here. He's just, we're having so much fun. He's brilliant, though. Just a real genius. Doogie Howser. At 6, he wrote his real first short story. And before that, he wrote something so profound, even 5 sentences. It was only 5 sentences, but it was profound. The shortest story ever, probably. Actually, the shortest story ever could probably be told in 3 words, whatever.
Anyway. There is just really quickly on that, there is an Arthur C. Clarke
I didn't even get to introduce
piece that is 31 words long.
31 words.
In which he destroys the entire universe.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Who is that?
Arthur C. Clarke.
Arthur C. Clarke. What's it called?
I would have to look it up.
Too much destruction, though. We don't need the destruction. But okay, I never even got to introduce you. You just started talking. I love it. Peter, that's Peter J. Wacks, by the way. Do you like the J in there? I haven't been using it, but that's because I like to say Peter Wacks. You know?
It's I go for the J just for the distinction of having there is a FBI agent named Peter Wacks. Who published a book about his career.
Okay.
And that was part of why I decided at that point. I was like, okay, I need to stick my middle initial in there. But other than that, no, to wear it on my sleeve, growing up with a name like Peter Wacks in high school, I earned having a memorable name.
I like it. You do have a memorable name, and you're a writer. You're an actor. We didn't even know that part. You're a magician. There's so much to you. You just keep peeling the onion back. It's a never-ending onion. What is the favorite thing that you do that you work on?
Oh, that is an impossible question. One of the reasons why I have so many tools in my toolbox or so many skills in my skill set is that I get fascinated with the universe. I get fascinated with everything around me, and I dig my hands in, and learning how to do things and getting to do them, creative things, is all of it is amazing to me. It's what drives me. So asking me what a particular favorite is, that's impossible. I can point to particular projects afterwards and say, that was awesome to do. Recently, I wrote the preface for the new Writers of the Future, Volume 31. It's a big writing contest. Getting to write that and then see the production, the 3-minute film that was made out of that preface to introduce the award ceremony, that was an incredible experience. But so far as what I'm working on right now moving forward, that is a particular favorite, there isn't. I love it all.
Yeah, I think that what I would say, what people have said to me in the past when they do a lot, and how I feel too, it's what I'm working on right now. It's the current project, but I think you're right. Like when you see, it's really when you see the things come to fruition. I enjoy working on things as I'm doing it, but you don't really appreciate it till you're done and you see the end result, I think. But I think what you've said basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that basically the idea here is that what you're working on right now is the most exciting, but realistically, when you get to see the finished product, you love it all. You're passionate about everything you do.
Absolutely.
Talk about the new book you're working on. And you've partnered with this guy, Steven, who is the producer of the Xena Warrior Princess series.
Yes, Stephen L. Sears. He was the co-executive producer of Xena Warrior Princess, as well as one of the writers on the show. He's worked on everything from like the A-Team, the original TV series, Hardcastle McCormick, Riptide, all the way up into modern Xena, and he's just an amazing storyteller. And getting to work with him, when we met, we just kind of hit it off. And we decided that we would try and work on something together. And getting to write with him is an amazing experience. I do really love what I'm working on with him. And this project is called Villainy. It's the 4188 universe. And basically, I came to him with this idea. I was like, hey, Steve, I've got this idea about this college girl that lives in a world of superheroes, but she doesn't have powers of her own, and her life gets wrecked as collateral damage to a hero versus villain fight. And I want to explore and expand this universe, but I haven't got it all concrete. And so he started saying, oh, well, that's really cool. What about this? What about that? And I said, oh, yeah, that's cool. But what about this? And what about that? And before we knew it, a couple days later, we had this whole huge world flushed out. And Villainy is absolutely amazing. It's about a girl whose life gets destroyed, and she's not for the heroes. She's not for the villains. She's about tearing the entire damn system apart because she's sick of being a cog in it.
Wow. I think a lot of people can relate to that for sure. Certainly, I know that when things don't go right for me, I just want it. I don't care who, I just want to take everybody down. I like that, obviously we don't act like that, but I like that kind of thinking, right? You get that. I was watching the Ranger game last night. I don't know if you're a sports fan. We're going to talk about this a little later, but I'm a big New York Ranger fan. And I was actually really getting angry. And then I was angry at everybody after watching this game after they lost 6-5 in overtime. And it's really interesting. I literally said to myself, you know what? I think I might not be able to watch the rest of the series. I might have to let go because you know, I can watch other teams play, and it's really an enjoyable experience watching great hockey. When I care that much about it, I get angry. It's so weird.
I'm starting to learn about hockey because my 12-year-old daughter is very passionate about hockey.
Really? Is she? Does she
Yes.
play?
She plays and she loves hockey.
Well, she would. We interviewed Brianne McLaughlin. She's become a good friend of the show's. We not only interviewed her here in studio, but then she challenged me to get on the ice with her. Great girl, great woman, and you should tell your daughter to check her out because she's a great inspiration. We're going to have her on more frequently, but she is
Awesome.
a two-time silver medal winning goalie. So what position does your daughter play?
Oh boy, you're going to hit me with that.
Well, I mean,
so far as I know,
it's not that hard a question. I mean, if she played goalie, you'd know that. You could say forward or defense. How about one of those three?
I believe she has spent. Well, no, she has spent time in forward and in defense.
Okay, so she's a utility player, which is common at that age. She's not a goalie. Very cool. And you watch her play, right? You go and you watch her play?
She lives about 1,000 miles away from me. I rarely get the opportunity. What happens more frequently is I get calls and updates, and my ex-wife is great about calling me and updating me about what's going on with her and telling me about the games and telling me about the things going on in her life. So I would if I could. And I do go down there every once in a while.
Where is down there?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay, very nice. I guess they're playing a lot of hockey in Texas these days with the Dallas Stars back there.
Yep.
And that's pretty cool. What about streaming the games, using technology, taking like an iPad, having your ex-wife set it up and letting you be able to watch it? That's not a bad idea, is it?
She's a little bit of a Luddite. She believes in social face-to-face interaction, and she doesn't believe in technology that much. I'm just happy that she has a smartphone now.
She has a smartphone now. Your ex, you mean, not your daughter?
Correct.
And
my daughter is better with computers than I am.
Wow. All right, well, so you haven't gotten to see her play yet, but you've heard, and I imagine you will see her play at some point. How'd she get into hockey?
It has become a family thing down there. My ex-wife was into hockey, and my daughter is picking up what she likes from both of us, and what she doesn't like, she kind of discards. It's really cool to watch, actually, because I know that I was really shaped by my grandfather. A lot of the things I ended up loving were because my granddad or my mom, put them in front of me, to the point that there are very few things that I liked before I was a teenager that did not come from one of the two of them. That's not the case with her.
Were your parents divorced?
Correct.
And
Correct.
So your grandfather took care of you a lot, I imagine.
Yes, my granddad was the active father figure in my life, and he's a nuclear physicist who loves science fiction and kind of dragged me into the creative side of things.
Wow, a nuclear physicist. This is
Yes.
very impressive. I leaned a lot on my grandfather growing up. He means a lot to me, Jerry. And so it's interesting you say that. In fact, the name BeTerrific is kind of an homage to him. It's a whole long story, but I'm not going to bore the viewers with it for the 18th time. But I'm curious how it's really interesting how your grandfather helped mold you, and he was so interested in science fiction, and here you are down the road.
Yeah, I actually have a first printing over there of Stranger in a Strange Land, written by Robert Heinlein, that was the first science fiction book that my granddad read with me.
What was it like? What did you remember, like him reading that with you, and what were you thinking and stuff?
I was very excited, and I thought these worlds and everything happening in space was just so cool and awesome. And when we read together, what he would do is he would get 2 copies of a book, hand one to me, and then read it himself. And then chapter by chapter or every week we would talk about what had happened in the story so far. I was a voracious reader. I was consuming books at the rate of a couple books a day by the time I was 8.
Wow, a couple books a day? I couldn't even read a couple books a day today, even if they were Dr. Seuss books. No, I do. Sometimes Jack, I have a son, he's almost 2. We tear through these, quick books, but they're kids' books. Like last night I was like Fox, Hat, Ball, Paw, You know, some of them are
Oh
just.
yeah.
And
Oh,
then we
Fox
read.
and Socks, perennial favorite.
We read Mickey. You know, that's a little bit longer. Mickey, you know, is going to the Cowboy Bob Ranch with Minnie and Goofy, and that takes a little while to develop. And they go camping, and then Mickey. Another chapter is Mickey's getting Pluto, but they don't know it's Pluto, and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean those are longer. But I hear you. I don't know. That's impressive. 8 books.
Well, yeah, when I was 8, I was reading, I think the most I ever read in a day was like 4 or 5 books.
4 or 5. Sorry. Yeah, but that's still,
Yeah.
that's so impressive. Like we're talking real books, like the Hardy Boys or something, right?
Oh, yeah. Hardy Boys, let's see, 8 years old. Probably the biggest books that I read, the most complex ones, were Plato's The Republic.
You're kidding right now, right?
Strange Land.
You're kidding. This is insane. You really are a genius. All right. So getting back to the current project, when I mean this sounds really fascinating. When can we get that? When's that going to be out?
Well, Steve and I are talking about this is an interesting project because there's a lot that we're going to be doing with it, and we're actually developing a multimedia platform for it, not just the novel. And so there are a lot of delays in the publication schedule that we've encountered so far just because we want to have all the right pieces in place. We want to have support art. We want to have anthologies ready to go. With all of these things, we're looking at late this year.
Late this year.
Yes.
I think that's pretty good. And then what do they go to your website to kind of track that? How do they find out about it?
Yeah, they can go to Steve's website. They can go, follow on Facebook, follow me on Twitter at Peter J. Wacks. You can go to the website. I will have announcements there. That's peterjwacks.net. That's actually being relaunched right now to update with the blog roll that will include publication
What's
stuff.
it like working with Steve? What's it like working, especially to write a book with somebody? I would think that that'd be very challenging. Other than, I imagine if I ever write a book, well, maybe I type it and then hand it to somebody to edit, but I always feel like I just tell them stories and let them put the book together, and I kind of write it together or ghost write it or whatever they call it.
Well, the process of co-writing is there are as many ways to co-author a story as there are to have a conversation. It's one of those things where, it is a conversation in a way. So it goes back and forth, whether it's draft by draft, chapter by chapter, beat by beat, however you want to do it. Writing with Steve is amazing. He has a very famous dog, Julian the Warrior Puppy, is a Cavalier King Charles. And what'll happen is I'll come out to LA. Steve and I will sit down at Coffee Bean or Starbucks or one of the coffee shops in LA, and with Julian sitting there kind of keeping us company, checking everybody out, and we'll just start talking. And then the laptops will eventually come out, and we'll start layering out the pieces of what we're discarding. And it's really great because it's he likes to call it the bouncy castle, and I call it throwing ramen. His idea is that you're basically in this creative bouncy castle, and you're both jumping around, and your energy kind of increases each other's bounces. My metaphor is that it's like cooking a pot of ramen. When you throw a noodle at the wall to see if it sticks, because that means it's done, you do it with a fork normally. But if you throw a noodle at a wall, if it's not done, it'll fall off. If it is done, it'll stick to the wall. That's little weird factoid, okay?
Yeah.
So imagine half cooking a pot of ramen and then throwing it at the wall. The noodles that stick, those are the ones that are done. And so I think of the sessions with him, and when we talk and co-author, of a pot, I think of it like a pot of ramen. Like, we're looking for the noodles that aren't done so that we can get rid of them, and we're looking for what sticks to the wall because that's where the story is.
But you've got to kind of work together, and you can get frustrated with each other, but you got to be able to, like, that's his idea and we got to incorporate it, or this is my idea and it's got to be incorporated, or it gets discarded. It's just an interesting thing. Like, authoring a book together seems so weird to me, unless it's like a factual book. Where that would make sense, of course. All right, we got to take a quick break. We're going to talk to you about a whole lot more when we come back. Quick programming note for Adam: you got to run the regular commercials, not the graphic. And I don't know if you heard that, Adam. So just nod. Adam's got that. We've got this whole thing squared away now, I think. I'm excited you're on. So thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break and talk to you about some more when we come back. And if you want, I'll walk you through the Rangers and what I think is wrong with them. Since you're now getting into hockey, then you can talk to your daughter intelligently about it. How about that?
That sounds spectacular.
All right, we'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Thanks so much for watching. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. We got so much to talk to Peter Wacks about. I just want to get right into it. So let's get back into it. Peter, thanks so much for joining us. There's so much to talk to you about. You've done everything. What's it like creating video games?
The only work that I've ever done in video games has been ghost storyline writing.
Yeah.
I can program in C++ and a couple other of the basic languages, but I'm definitely not a sophisticated programmer. I'm more into the story aspect. It's interesting, and I would have to say it's a very unique experience trying to tell a story that is going to make someone else feel like they are the ones who are making that story unravel with their decisions. It was a very small piece of my career. I will say that. I got a lot more into working on the tabletop role-playing games and into the card games than I did into the storyline. Part of that is professional credit. All the projects that I've worked on in electronic, it was ghost. My name doesn't appear, and I've become less and less a fan as I get older and older of doing anything that's a ghost project.
Right. Absolutely. And you're the managing editor of WordFire Press. You guys have done some amazing stuff there as well. What's that experience like? By the way, we have to have you, the viewers love you. I think you're great. We've had a lot of fun. We got to have you on more often and catch up with you and also talk about, I mean, there's been so many projects we got to talk about that I can't even get through all this. We could be here for 4 days.
Well, I'd like to stay busy. One of the reasons that WordFire came to be actually is I've been working with Kevin J. Anderson, who is one of the most prolific writers around right now. He is also one of the hardest working men in science fiction, and he is actually the founder of WordFire Press and WordFire Inc. And you guys might know his name from Dune after Frank Herbert died. Kevin J. Anderson and Brian Herbert, Frank Herbert's son, kept writing the series. Kevin J. Anderson also wrote The Young Jedi Knights, Darksaber, some of the original foundation pieces of the Star Wars universe. He wrote the X-Files books that were, Ruins, Ground Zero, the New York Times best-selling ones. He's done so much. He has like 130 books out. Something like 60 or 70 of them have been bestsellers. This man doesn't stop. He just goes and goes and goes and goes. And keeping pace with him, it was a natural fit because you see from all my projects, I love digging my hands into things and doing a bunch of stuff, and getting to work with someone who has done that, but at his level, has become an amazing experience.
So the viewers definitely want a second show, by the way. I think that's very interesting. They want me to ask you about the Tardis behind you again, because that's when we crashed. I think everybody got so excited about that, we actually crashed the servers. I don't even, that's a big deal. Like, no joke. We'll see the numbers later. That's why I was a little distracted during the show. I was troubleshooting a little, but we crashed some pretty major servers, some pretty majer CDN. I don't want to mention it, but yeah, that's
good job, guys.
Wow. Yes, thank you, Terrifics. You guys are awesome. You're the best. The Terrifics are led by Digital Phil, Sean from The Extender, Ben, CJ, and of course Paul Dixon. And I know they're all Doctor Who fans. So let's just recap one more time about this Tardis. Am I pronouncing it correct, by the way?
Yes.
I'll be honest, I've never been a Doctor Who fan. I've watched some episodes, but I'm not the biggest fan in the world.
It's TARDIS, TARDIS, Time and Relative Dimensions in Space.
So you just recap for everybody. This is like a legit replica.
Yes. Yes. This is a legit full-size replica. the door opens and closes. It actually has a lock on it. It is 7.5 feet tall. It is actually based on 10, which is David Tennant's TARDIS, and the only piece was originally it was Tom Baker's TARDIS, so the darkened windows come from the 70s. The rest of it is designed based around the show during the 2006 to 2010 era.
Now you built this, or you had it built, or you bought it?
I bought the original.
Mm-hmm.
It was originally a fan one that was very well put together. It was being auctioned off to support a convention. And I was like, hey, that's cool. I've been meaning to build a TARDIS anyway, so let's do this. And then got it up here, and my friend Amy Schilt is a costumer here in Colorado. She does the Paternoster Gang. She has a Lady Vastra, who's the reptile lady on Doctor Who. She has a costume that she built for herself. Her and Shaman Studios works with her a lot. So what we did is we took this TARDIS apart. We redesigned it, repainted it, we sanded it down. We kind of got it all so that it is actually perfect, and it has made appearances at multiple conventions now as the convention TARDIS.
Wow, that's impressive. How long does it take you to break down and build back up? Maybe we have to have it at the BeTerrific booth at one of these shows.
Oh, that would be fun. It takes about an hour.
Wow.
It takes about an hour to break it down, about an hour to reconstruct it.
We might have to have it like on set at one of these, like we cover Comic-Con and stuff. We did New York Comic-Con Live, 1.27 million viewers, great retention time. Yeah.
Wow.
Look, I'm not kidding when I say we took down the server. Like, we took it down. And this is a big CDN. We just, boom. That's the report I got.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's the Terrifics. We love you, Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. All right. So a couple things about everything. You're going to be at Denver Comic-Con coming up, right?
I am.
Yeah. What's the deal with that?
Denver Comic-Con, as you've seen, Comic-Cons have started sprouting up everywhere.
Yeah.
Denver Comic-Con is in its 4th or 5th year. It's up to being about a 75,000 person show. It's a terrific. This year it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. A lot of great guests. I have 9 panels that I'll be speaking on.
Wow.
So if any of your viewers, if any of you guys are out there in Denver, swing by, check me out at the panels, say hi.
Forget the viewers. I want to come. I think we should bring, next year, maybe bring the BeTerrific show to the Denver Comic-Con. I love Denver, a great place. Have you ever been, you ever go to Englewood at all? Englewood, Colorado? That's near Denver, right? The landmark is those big towers there where all the athletes and celebrities live. I've been there, but it's that Chinese restaurant that's so good there. I think it's called Jay's or something. You ever been there?
I have, yep.
That place is good, huh?
Everywhere in Aurora, Englewood, Lakewood, it's all one giant metroplex.
Yeah. And that's right by the Ted Montanas as well. But that place is really good, really good. You want to know who I had dinner with there? This was pretty awesome.
Okay.
Elway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I had lunch. I had lunch with Chris Sims there. That was pretty fun. And many dinners with the actual, like, the whole Broncos. It's a cool place. But I love that the food there is so good. It's not cheap, but it's good. And then there's Montana Ted's. All right, a couple other things. Give your website out again real quick, and we got to get you on again. Everybody loves you.
Absolutely, I'd love to be on again. My website is peterjwacks.net. That's PETERJ WACKS. PeterJWacks.net.
Yes, and you could be from New Jersey because you might as well be a mobster with that name. All right, and then let's talk hockey for a minute here. I'm going to tell you. Here's what happened. You watched the Ranger game last night, and even if you didn't, you just tell your daughter you did, and here's the deal. All right, did you though?
No, I didn't see it. So
okay, so here's the deal. So the Rangers are playing this team. They're called the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is the Eastern Conference Finals for the Stanley Cup, and then you've got the Western Conference Finals, Ducks and Blackhawks. So the Rangers are a really good team, and they're playing a team with a lot of speed. Both teams have great goaltenders. Henrik Lundqvist is the Rangers goaltender. Here's the problem. Number one, the Rangers have trouble breaking the puck out of their zone. For some reason, they're not playing fundamental hockey. They're not breaking the puck out well, so they're not clearing it hard, and they've somehow become afraid of icing the puck and kind of regrouping, right? Icing gets a whistle. So they stay in their own zone. They try and move around with it too much, and they loft passes that get intercepted. That's number one.
So breaking out of the zone, you're talking about their half of the ice.
You got it. They're not getting out of their own end. When they get the puck from the other team, they take it away, They're not getting it out of their end good enough. Number two, the other biggest problem I have with the Rangers here is that they're not putting the puck on net enough. So there's a saying that says there's nothing good that happens if you stay out past 1 a.m. That's probably true. There's also a saying in hockey that says if you put the puck on the net, good things will happen. All you have to do is put it on the net. Weak shots, every shot, whatever. They're not putting it on the net enough, and so they're not getting the rebound stuff. They're dominating control of the puck. They're holding it for a long time. They're passing it all the time. Pass, 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 pass. They're not getting enough shots. The other thing that's so interesting about that is the Rangers seem to handle the puck better than any other team I've ever seen in my life. Literally, every time you think they're going to get the puck taken away or stripped, they don't. They still have the puck, but what do they do instead of putting it on net? They pass it. It's good to pass. I'm all about passing, but enough. We got to shoot the puck and clog the lane. So what happens in hockey is you want to crash the net and shoot the puck there. And then you want to get the rebounds and you want to do redirections, and they're not doing either of those really. When they're getting the rebounds, they're scoring. So we got to do more of that. Then the other thing that's really interesting about the Rangers is they're taking a lot of chances, which seems to be their MO. And that means that they're giving the other team a lot of chances. Well, in other teams that they've played, like the Capitals, they've been able to catch up to the other team. So some guy starts breaking away, they're able to catch up. But the Lightning are faster, and so they're not able to catch up with the Lightning. And I think that they just are so close. They're so close, but they got to just break through, and they got to put the puck on net more, much more. And it's just, that's the biggest thing. Put the puck on the net. And by the way, would you stop shooting it into his pads unless you want rebounds? Like when you're on a breakaway, the Rangers get breakaways, and instead of shooting it high, which is where they should shoot it, they're shooting it into his pads. This goaltender, Bosch. Because they think that they're going to score low, but he's got these huge pads. He lays them on the ice, and that's it. You're not getting any room there. So, and Bosch is not his name. It's close. I can't remember his name now. It's just slipped me. But you got to get it up high, up high. All right, that's the way you got to play in hockey now. No backhand, lazy shots to the pads. You got to put it up high and hard, and then you got to hope for a rebound. And if you're shooting it from out far, if you're controlling the puck, move around, shoot it, and then you can keep it low, get the rebound off the pads. But don't have a breakaway and shoot into the pads. Anyway, there you go. So they're breaking out of the zone badly. They're passing too much. There's actually a thing, and they're not putting it on net and crashing the net well enough. So
putting on net, I want to make sure I understand that. Is that red kind of semicircle around the?
Well, that would be the crease, the red semicircle. Okay. The net is behind that. That's what the goalie is standing in front of the net. So
gotcha.
So he's standing in front of the net. The crease, you're not allowed in the crease unless the puck is there. So they want to stay out of that crease thing, but they want to be right on the edge of that crease, like leading in the goalie's face as the puck is being shot. And they want the puck being shot at the net, and they want to just crash that net. They want to be as close to that net as possible. They get the rebound, and then they put it in. And maybe you don't panic. You take a step. You make a move. You then lift it up high. Boom, right in the net. You got a goal. Get a goal. Get a goal.
Okay.
And stop taking stupid penalties, for God's sakes. I love physical hockey. Stop taking stupid penalties. Yes, you're learning. We're going to teach you more because you're going to come on more.
Absolutely. So next time we're going to start to talk about some advanced stuff so that I can get this down.
Yes. And by the way, you're a very smart guy. You're a genius. You're brilliant. You can read 4 books in by the time you're 8 in one day. You're going to be able to get this in no time. You don't even need to read a book. Just take the Michael Artsis class here.
Awesome.
Right? Yeah. And we're going to talk more about all your stuff. It's so interesting and what you're working on. And just you in general. I didn't even get to what you do for fun, which I'm sure is read. But I'd love to know what else you do for fun.
Oh, okay.
And magic. I know magic.
Right. I do magic for fun. I also, I am a sword fighter. I practice European styles and some of the Japanese styles. I like to run 5Ks. It's actually enjoyable. I also really like IPA.
You run 5Ks?
Yes.
I would never have picked you for that. Wow, that's amazing. And IPA, that's Adam's territory. I know nothing about that except I can ask you a little bit. Adam's going to have to chime in on that. I think these are all good teasers for the next time. What do you say maybe like a week or two we have you back on and we talk a whole lot more? How's that sound?
Absolutely. I do have Denver Comic-Con, and then I have to go down to Dallas for Dallas Comic-Con.
Wow.
So as soon as I'm back in early June, I have some free time.
Excellent. And you can tell us all about Denver and Dallas Comic-Cons, and hopefully by then I'll be able to say the Rangers have hoisted the Stanley Cup as 2015 Stanley Cup champions. What do you think? Yeah, have you watched the hockey game? How excited there's no other sport where they get as excited when they make a goal or a home run or a touchdown. Seriously.
I have noticed that, and it is a drastic difference from, I grew up on tennis. I grew up for part of the time every year in Europe.
Okay. Bjorn Borg or Vitas Gerulaitis, wasn't that his name, or was that a disease? I can't remember. That's his name, right, Adam?
I was a huge Agassi fan.
Agassi was the man. Agassi, look, he rocks the same haircut as me. Agassi was the man. We both used to have similar haircuts. No, I never had long hair like that, but he was the man. Agassi, it killed me actually a few years ago when I read that he was methed out when he was all on, because like I really liked Agassi. I like tennis. I like Agassi style. I like Radek because of that. I want somebody to be fiery like a hockey player in tennis.
Yeah, and Agassi was the fire. I mean, our other huge American guy at the time was Pete Sampras.
Who did not, he was white
understated.
Toast. Yeah. He was. He might have well have been a British guy. He could be. Who's the British guy now? I can't remember his name right at this second. Not Federer. The other guy. He's not Federer. Federer's like Darth Vader. The other guy. The thin guy with the same haircut as Sampras. He literally could be Sampras. He probably is. It's Sampras in like he's like But you expect that like understated from the British. Like
you really do.
Yeah.
But for how quiet tennis is as a sport, I have definitely noticed that. The hockey is like, it's the polar opposite. It's so loud, and the fans, it's almost like they're part of the game. I appreciate that. It's so different.
I'll tell you, so my buddy Darryl Reed, who I used to go hang out with in Denver and watch play for the Broncos, he went to the University of Minnesota, and he became a hockey fan playing football there by going to the games. He would watch Vanek and all these guys play, and he'd be like, I would be pressed up against the glass, like slamming on the glass. And I was like, really, what? He's a football player, but he said it's the same thing. It's so intense. And I years ago when I was a kid, I was probably 6, I met Bobby Bonilla. I was actually probably 9. 10 maybe, in a luxury box at the Nassau Coliseum, and he was watching the Islanders play, and I said, he's like, I love hockey. I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, I love hockey. I love the game. If I could have played hockey, I would have played that. I love it more than baseball. And it's just, there's something so passionate about it. That's why I want to see a guy like McEnroe or Agassi play tennis. I love it's not about that I want to see somebody act like an idiot. I want to see somebody that passionate about their sport.
Exactly. Being passionate about what you do.
I'm passionate.
Anything. It doesn't matter if you're playing hockey, playing tennis, if you're writing books, being passionate. Even you're passionate. You love what you're doing, and it's obvious. And it's awesome to watch.
Well, thank you. And it's awesome to watch and talk to you because you're passionate about what you're doing. I think we've got a whole lot to talk about when you come back on. I mean, we literally probably could do it. We should make it a 2-hour special. So we could go off on whatever tangent we want, but we at least hit everything and talk about all your stuff and find out more about you. And if you're ever in New York with your daughter, we got to go to a hockey game together because I want to show you that, but also I want you to see her first NHL experience, especially there is no place like Madison Square Garden. I'm sorry, I've been all around. There is no place like Madison Square Garden to watch a hockey game.
I am 100% in, and I'm betting she would love that.
Awesome. Well, it's great to talk to you. I really appreciate it. Peter Wacks, Peter J. Wacks. We'll have you on again. Have fun at Comic-Con in Denver and Dallas. And everybody check out peterjwacks.net. That is correct, right? peterjwacks.net. Yes, and we'll have you on again soon. That's the Michael Artsis Show for today. I did give you the Rangers, so we'll have to see what they do. Until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. For Adam, I'm Michael. You guys are the Terrifics. You make Be Terrific special. Until next time, be terrific.